What's going on, everybody? It's Steve.
And Janee.
And we are in the corner of cultivating friendships and all that good stuff. In Cultivation Corner, we got Pita with us today.
Hello, everyone.
What's going on, Pita?
I'm excited to be back here.
I think we're both excited to have you back.
Yes, we are very excited to have you back. You're just going to come back every season.
Yeah, you have
Every
to. Like
season.
the honorary. No, are you kidding me? The honorary guest right here. And I got to say this first and foremost. Doctor.
Yes.
It's official, you guys.
Dr. Pita.
Dr. Pita. You finished your doctoral degree.
Finally.
You are such an inspiration, I swear.
You're so sweet. It only took, what, like 6.5 years?
What a commitment. But well worth it. Well worth it.
Absolutely.
Can you tell everybody what's it in? What did you get your
in neuroscience.
Wow.
She's smart.
She's smart. Pita, listen, we are so glad to have you back. What we want to do is just let everybody know a little bit more about you, your shop here in Dallas, Texas, and all that good stuff. And we want to catch up. Like, we want this to be just us just talking, having fun, and, connecting with each other. So, Pita, the last time we spoke, we got a little bit into your origin story and how you started this place. So for those of you who have not heard of Pita's Planters, Pita, tell them what Pita's Planters is.
I'm more than happy to share. So Pita's Planters now is this little shop here, this little brick and mortar, and we are located in Dallas, Texas. Our shop really specializes in a lot of uncommon and rare plants that you might not be able to find at Home Depot or Lowe's or your usual big box stores. And it's a great little community a space. For us, part of opening this brick and mortar is creating a safe space for the community where everyone can come together. But that's now. Back then, Pita's Planters was a mobile shop. So that's kind of how we grew by started doing pop-up shops at the farmers markets.
Wow. Yeah.
And it all started with a single pop-up shop with a few propagations, a few planters that we made ourselves, and then eventually that grew into the mobile plant truck, and then now the store that you see here.
Oh,
That's
we love
awesome.
the store. Love
the transformation.
I love the store.
Me too.
Okay, let me ask you this. What's your best part about owning this space?
I think it really is the community. It's not even just these four walls here. It really is the space that we have created, the people that we get to see every weekend, everyone that comes here. I think having that place to be let's go hang out at my place.
Yeah.
Let's go hang out in my shop, where people just know and they gather here and they come together. I think out of everything, it really is having that space to call a community hub for everyone.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I would say, too, I've even met people coming here shopping, and now we'll follow each other on socials or whatever. And you truly have built a wonderful community. So I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect space for people to come in here and don't get me wrong. Every time I walk in here, I walk out with something, okay? And as much as I tried to say, Steve, don't buy anything today, I saw a couple of Hoya Matildas.
Yes, you have to have one
I have
of those.
to. Oh, see, you know better than your peer pressure and all that stuff.
You have to leave with a plan.
But I think at the end of the day, too, Pita, you and your team, David and Shauna and Aubrey, you guys are just so inviting with just your personalities and just knowing and letting people know that they are welcomed here. So, how do you... What makes that part of the inspiration to open the door every single day? What makes that drive?
What inspires us to just come into the shop?
Yeah, and just make it so available to everybody to just feel free to come and be themselves, pick a plant, and...
Yeah. Well, I'll say, just to start off, I think that we have the best team ever.
Yeah.
And that's not something that just happened randomly. When David and I opened this shop, we always told ourselves we're going to be those owners that are fair. We're
Yeah.
going to be those owners that truly care for their employees, that even if like we are taking a cut in our personal pay, we're going to make sure that we're paying people fairly.
That's amazing.
We're going to make sure that we take care of our people. And I know it's such a cliche to say like if we're like family or whatever, but I really took that to heart because I like, for me, going to my job, I never wanted to feel like, oh, I'm dragging just to like go and clock in, you know?
Sure,
To me, I want a job to be a fulfilling place where I'm passionate about something, and everyone else around me is passionate about that, and we're all like looking out for each other. And when we hired Shauna, she was the first person that we
Love
hired.
you, Shauna.
I remember when
We
you
love
hired
you,
Shauna.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like I remember interviewing Shauna, and to me I had a list of questions that I said, no, like I need to know these things about a person if I'm going to bring them on my team, because I want like when I'm not here, I want everyone who walks through those doors to be treated in the exact same way that I would treat a friend. So whoever walks through the doors, I want them to feel loved and welcomed and included and safe. And Shauna embodied everything that we stand for and everything that we believe in as a shop, as individuals. And so it was a no-brainer. And then Aubrey came along, and then Shauna was like,
Hey, Aubrey.
We love you, Aubrey.
Always.
Shauna was like, you know who should, like when I started thinking about hiring another person, she's like, there's this girl that walks in here often, and she always comes to get Hoyas.
Okay, see?
She's like, I need another Hoya head.
Because isn't that Shauna showing us a Hoya head? She gifted me a
Shauna's the
Hoya.
biggest Hoya head, and she was like, we need another Hoya head here. And that is Aubrey. And they're both huge Hoya heads. And they turned me into a Hoya head.
Yeah, she got me one of
And everyone that walks through these doors is now a Hoya head because of them too. So,
Well, isn't that part of your whole thing now, is that you're going to specialize a little bit more in Hoyas? Did I hear you say something like that?
Exactly.
What's that all about?
yeah. So right now, first of all, like this year, a few months ago, like what? We're still in January? No, it's February.
Yeah.
So January was my first month being full-time, like completely full-time at the shop.
All right.
Because I graduated.
Graduated school.
And I'm taking some time off before deciding what to do next. And I said, okay, this is my time to really put all my energy and all my effort into the shop. And so we're going to make changes. And so I sat down, I really tried to analyze, how are we doing? Because as you guys know, last year we were struggling, and I'm gonna talk about that a lot more because I have a lot to say about opening a brick and mortar and the pros and cons of all of that. But we decided to really make changes that are aligned with our strengths. And so far, what we saw is that the plant market has changed a lot. Over the last couple of years, tissue culture, now there's mass-produced plants, and especially like philodendrons. We've seen a huge shift away from philodendrons. Some rare ones are still common and popular, but we've decided to really focus on our strengths, and that is Hoyas. People have always come to the shop because we tend to have more uncommon Hoyas. And then this year we said, okay, well, let's have the rare Hoyas, like the cool Hoyas. So that's something that we're kind of working on. And you can't tissue culture a Hoya, like at least it's not mass produced.
Oh, that's a myth. That's why they keep their price.
Exactly.
So,
So phyllos can be tissue cultured, alocasias can be tissue cultured, even anthuriums can be tissue cultured. The specific hybrids of anthuriums or the more like variegated anthuriums, they're not as mass tissue cultured yet, but there are some variegated anthuriums that are starting to be tissue cultured. And the one thing that is just not suitable for tissue culturing is Hoyas. It's because they tend to be slower growers. And there's a lot more. I'm sure at some point Ronald is going to talk about tissue culturing.
Yes.
Stay tuned for Trop House. Ronald is going to fill us all in on tissue culture.
Yes, I'm so excited for that episode.
Same.
But Hoyas, they tend to hold their value a lot more because it really is all through propagation,
Yeah.
like cutting and propagation and growing. And that's what we kind of want to focus on a little more.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I have a clemenceorium that has 3 leaves for the past year and a half. Like,
Oh, jeez.
literally.
Yeah.
They're so slow.
They're
So
very slow.
That's frustrating.
What about you? Got any Hoyas, Janee?
Well, I purchased one from you at the Dallas Plant Con.
The Sarawak, I
Thank you,
remember.
because I'm bad with names.
Is that
And
the
I'm
dinner
glad
plate one?
it.
The big
It's
dinner
Very
plate?
similar to
Well,
the
yeah.
dinner plate.
Okay.
And I'm glad I purchased. Like, it's full. I
Yeah.
wanted that instant gratification.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if it's grown anything yet, but it's full, so it makes me happy. But it's only been 4 months or so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
only 4 months since Plant Con. Why does it feel like a lifetime ago?
I know, it does.
No, January felt like 3 years to me, so I'm not even gonna lie to you. The month of January always feels like a
It
couple
was
of
a
years.
long month.
It was a
Yes.
long month.
It
You
was.
know, and you guys, I know you guys are seeing this probably like in March or April or so. But we're filming this in February, so you know,
Yeah,
the weather feels like March or April right now.
it really does. Texas weather is
Thankfully,
crazy.
after that snowstorm,
Seriously. Like once a year, I could take that being a New Yorker because
That's true. Me Texan, I can't. I can't.
no, thank you.
So, what are some other, I guess, changes, or like since you're gonna be focusing more on Hoyas, other changes with the shop that you'll be doing or focusing on?
Yeah. So, can I talk a little bit more about why first?
Yes.
yeah.
'cause I feel like it makes more sense to say like
Yes,
what
why the
changes I'm
changes.
making and why. But I like to always be as transparent as possible when it comes to being a small business owner. As you guys know, this was not planned at all. Like, you guys know that this was a little hobby that I started right when I was about to start grad school. So it really was just like, let me propagate some plants. Let me sell some of my terrazzo planters, some of the things that I've been making. So I didn't go to business school. I went to school for neuroscience, so I had no idea, like, the first thing about opening a shop, how to actually run a business. So over the years, I've had to learn a lot of lessons that sometimes did put us in bad places. And last year was one of those times. So last year, we realized that the market for plants is not the same that it used to be. And so, being a brick and mortar, like, one of the huge positives is the community. Like, you get to really connect with people. Like, when someone walks in here, I love hearing about their days. I
Yeah.
want to know, like, oh, who are you getting this plant for? What's your collection like? Blah, blah, blah. But it slows down a lot. Like, in the winter times, sometimes it gets really slow. And there are times, like, there were some days when we didn't have a single person walk through our doors.
Jeez.
And as a small business,
Yeah.
that's scary.
So what keeps you motivated during those times where
It doesn't
Yeah.
look like it's
Coming
going
in.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to stay motivated. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it because there were times when I questioned it a lot. I was like, oh my gosh, is this the right thing? Should I be really putting all my time and effort into my career? Like, should I keep doing this? I didn't really know whether I should be doing it or not. But then the customers, we have those like die-hard customers.
They do it
If you're
all
out there
the
and you're
time.
watching this,
Yeah.
I love you so
Pita
much.
pockets.
oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We have customers that I'm like, you are single-handedly keeping us afloat right now.
Yeah.
Love that.
And really just a random customer like reaching out to me and saying, hey, today I went into the store and I was struggling with this, and that. And just being there made me feel better. Just being there really lifted my spirits. And that's when I say, no, this is worth it.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
it's a journey. And I've always tried to remind myself of that like, being a small business owner is going to be a journey. It's never going to be like, yeah, I'm making bank, I'm making lots of money. No, it's going to be like seasons and ups and downs. And you have to learn to be resilient. You have to learn to adapt and go with the flow and really like our shop has changed so much since the moment that we started. We started by making a lot of pots. We've moved a lot like away from that a lot because of time, and we realized that like certain plants sell better than others.
Right.
So we've had to really adapt. But last year, like towards the end, it was hitting me really hard because I was in the middle of writing my dissertation. So my brain was like, you need to do this. You need to get your PhD. You need to like buckle down and focus on this. While at the same time, we were having really slow months. Like people were not coming in here and walking in, and we were not making enough sales to really sustain the shop. And so the numbers started looking really scary, and in my head I was like, what's not working? But also I can't focus on that right now. I have to focus on my dissertation.
Right. So imagine the guilt that comes along with that, where you're not able to put the amount of time that you would like to in the dream because you're, I guess, kind of focusing on another dream. Right?
Exactly.
So one of them has to suffer. You have to sacrifice one for the other.
Exactly. And that's how it was. And that's when we really, like, I just said, okay, we just need to buckle down, make it until I defend and I complete my PhD. And if we survive until then, there are going to be big changes.
Right.
And I need to really take a look at what's working, what's not working. And if you want to open your brick and mortar, or if you're thinking about like running a business like this, what I would recommend is, this is the boring side of business where you have to like sit down and really look at the numbers and really look at like the systems and what's working and where's all the money going and all of that. And once you do that, then you can figure out like what changes to make. But one of the biggest changes for us was our hours. So we used to be open I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way through Sunday. And now we're only open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the reason for that is because when we were open all the other days, it was just like we were paying to keep the lights on for that long, to paying someone to be here all those hours and getting one sale a day. And so
so you were losing more money than you were bringing in.
Exactly. So we realized this is tough, but we have to make this decision. And then the time that we're closed, we have to increase productivity. We have to figure out how to make more sales. And what we realized is online live sales. That's where it's at, which I understand. It's a lot easier to like be on your couch like eating some chips and watching something and then buying plants, right? Exactly.
Well, here's the other part too. I mean, I'm sure some of the online sales are coming from people who are sipping on some wine who feel a little bit more friendly with their credit card, because that would be me. That's why
that's true.
You know, so there's that part about it too. But I guess that transition from you to really, you know, not only focus on the four walls of this business, but also to branch out, because your online business is nationwide, correct?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly. And that we can now reach way more customers, like all over the US. And that makes it a lot easier for us to find our niche. We can really find the people that love Hoyas, that love the rare Hoyas. And even then, I was so surprised. Initially, I was so hesitant about doing live sales because I love that interaction. I love seeing your face and talking to you. And I realized that, I don't know, going live, like online, I was like, I'm gonna lose all of that, but not at all. I like on Palm Street, that's our main platform now. I know people by name now, and I'm like, this person buys so often. She loves Hoyas, and she's over in like Minnesota. Like one of my friends, Planty Buds, which I
know Planty Buds. That's Eric.
What's up, Eric? I love it because I'm like, he's like up in Minnesota, and he tells me about his bird watching, and I'm like, I love bird watching, and you love that. Really connect. You're
still
people.
making those connections.
Exactly. Even though it's like a virtual thing, you really get to like hear about everyone's weeks and what are y'all up to, and it's awesome.
That's good. I love that transition.
You know, I remember during COVID, right? Like um, I had to think outside the box with my personal training because during that time you couldn't meet people face to face, and there was this whole thing, you know, and that was my money maker. That was my money maker.
Yeah.
And so when you have to rethink your brand and you know your business model,
Yeah.
and you're kind of forced to do it, it gives you, you know, your back is up against the wall.
Yeah.
So this has to work. I'm going to make this work.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is that I thought that I was going to lose the connection because I love face-to-face interactions with people too. But during that time, during COVID, it kind of brought even the people who I would see face-to-face even closer because for some reason, I mean, it's like we all needed each other in that moment.
Yeah.
And so, with you expanding your business nationwide, I'm telling you, one of the reasons why I shop here a lot is because of the interactions with you and Aubrey and Shauna and David and being able to talk with you all. The fact that Palm Street has a chat where, you know, like I can put my laughing emojis and,
Often.
you know, that literally I'm like, you know how I laugh. So you can just imagine that me sitting on my couch just laughing at the shenanigans that are going on here.
Yeah.
And I don't think, you know, you're fortunate to not miss that connection.
Exactly.
You know?
I love that aspect of it.
That's really good. So real quick, what were you surprised about running a physical shop? Like what was something that actually, you know, aside from where you are now, but something that gave you joy about running a physical brick and mortar?
Yeah, so I think getting to see your vision come to life,
Yeah.
because that's one of the things I didn't really have when I didn't have a brick and mortar. Like all my plants were either at home where I grew stuff, but then here, now that you have this little space, I walk in here, and every time I walk in here, I'm like, what do I want people to feel when they walk in here?
Good, yeah.
What do I want? Like you're curating this whole space.
Yeah.
And like for instance, we just added all these cabinets here.
Yeah,
And we
yeah, I
did
was checking them out.
Love it.
Yeah, because it was like everyone has a cabinet in their homes by now.
Yes,
You just got
I
yours
just
too.
Finally, Steve has one.
Finally.
I finally got it.
Finally.
But yeah, so I wanted to feel like oh yeah, this plant in here can be part of my personal collection at home.
Yeah.
So really curating the space and having, like, my goal is to have all the plants in here that are like unicorns. Like I want it to be a place that when you walk in, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm seeing all these plants in person that I normally only see in pictures.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest, like, exciting things about having a brick and mortar, and also carrying stuff that, like, other products that I stand behind. Because I'm always telling people, like, oh yeah, I use this fertilizer, I use this for my plants. And now I'm like, it's right here.
It's right here.
We can carry it.
Yes.
And with Shauna and everyone, I'm like, I will only ever carry products that I can stand behind. Like, I don't want to just be, no shade to Home Depot or all those places.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're there to make money, right?
Exactly.
So they're just going
Right.
to carry a wide array of things. I would say, like, almost every single product that we have in here, whether it's the fertilizer, leaf shine, I don't know, like potting mixes.
Yeah.
I've tried it myself and I've used it, and I can say, this is how I used it, this is how it worked for me, this is why I recommend it for you. So that's another big thing that I love about having a brick and mortar, where I can have a lot of different things that I'm like, this is gonna improve
Yes.
your plant growing experience.
You can actually speak truth to power about the product.
Exactly.
You know?
It does, and I love it because it's too what sets you apart from other shops. Like whenever I first started shopping here, not only of course the plants, but even like you mentioned, like even just the the custom pots, or even the coffee cups. I have several pairs of earrings from here,
Yes.
plant themed earrings. We even sell cards. Like it's truly like you say, you curating the place. You've curated a whole experience. Come get your plants. Also, potting soil. Do you need a card for someone? Like, you can get that too. Woman, get your earrings. Like, it's everything. So it definitely sets you apart.
Yeah.
So I love that about it.
And you know what, so Janae, speaking of pots, right? Because, again, you said you can come in here and you can buy a pot. You
Yeah.
can actually come in here and take a workshop and didn't you make a pot not too
Yes.
long ago?
Me, Alma, and Ruth, we came here and did how do you pronounce it?
Terrasso.
The terrasso
Yes.
workshop. That was really fun.
Aw,
I'm
so
very
glad
happy
you
about that.
joined.
Yes.
What
That was
inspired you
fun.
to do that? Like that's like workshops now. Like that's a
Yeah.
thing. You know,
Yes.
like what's the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, so that was another one of those things that we were thinking like, I want to go back to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like one of the major things that we changed in here, instead of having a lot of tables
Yeah.
where we had all the plants on in the center, we switched, and this was all very carefully thought out. We switched to shelves that are on wheels.
Okay.
Because
So
we have a
smart.
tiny space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like this space is tiny. We have to work hard and get creative to figure out how to maximize how we're using the space.
Right.
So now what we do is those shelves that are on wheels, during the week, we move them out of the way. We open up the space here. That's why we're here today. We're able to move it all out of the way. And on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, this turns into a whole packing station for everything that is getting shipped out all over the US. And on the other days, it turns into workshops. So we're able to just put up a few tables
Yeah.
in here. And that's something I really wanted to get back to, because I'm so passionate about just creating something from scratch. And I used to make and sell these terrazzo pots, and I said, well, why not just share it with a customer? Why not just turn it into an experience, a community event where we can all come together and you like be creative. Like it was so fun to see all the different customers
Yes.
like putting together their favorite colors with different aggregates,
Yeah.
and some are messier than others.
That's
Than mine.
Shauna.
Oh,
Shauna. Literally head to toe. That was
Would have been
fun.
mine for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
And we want to have even more, like not just terrazzo workshops,
Yeah.
but also maybe like how to make your own moss pole.
That's what I
yeah.
need. I need
Yeah.
that desperately.
Or even just educational things. I am like an instructor and teacher by heart. I love sharing everything I know with everyone. So one of the future things that we have planned is like beneficials, learning all about beneficials for people who want to
I
understand
love that.
what
Wait.
it is.
The
Plant community needs
beneficial
that.
bugs? Is
Yeah.
that?
No, it's
You can do it,
great, Steve.
I don't want to see something crawling on. Well,
You
sometimes
hardly
I
Ladybugs,
see
right?
them.
really.
You hardly ever see them.
Okay.
Trust me. Like that's a whole thing that I want to like educate people on,
Yeah.
because it's a great little resource.
Yeah.
And then also just what kind of pests are in your plants and how to target them
Yes.
and how to treat it.
I would definitely be taking those classes then. For
no,
sure.
we're so excited.
I mean, because I think what happens with that is that it kind of deepens the connection with your
Yes.
customer and the
Exactly.
community. So, once you get the word out, because I know that you're very active now on your social medias and you're getting the word out. And trust me, I'm helping, repost,
Yeah.
repost, and all that good stuff. But it definitely does deepen the connection within your community base,
Exactly.
your customer base. So,
Yeah, exactly.
good.
And I think overall it also decreases frustration, because
Yes.
I like plants. It's an incredible thing. Like I love growing plants. I love connecting with people over their joy for plants. But then there's also that frustrating side where I've seen when, especially like new plant parents are like, I'm so frustrated. Like
Yeah.
I have aphids or I have mealy bugs, and why is this happening? And then it's great if you have almost like a support system where you're like,
Yeah.
well, first of all, it's not you. This is part of having plants. Like pests are just part of it, but this is how you treat it. This is how you target it. These are the tools you can use to make it a little better.
Yeah, and the plant community needs that because it's easy to deter. You come, you buy a plant, pest, it dies, or you just don't even know what to do with it. You throw it away.
Exactly.
And so having those set in place and make people more, I don't know, just loving the experience and knowing that it's okay if my plant is like this or if it has pests. It's a part of it, but this is
Exactly.
how I can overcome it and
Yeah.
help the plant.
So do you feel like that's giving you the opportunity to learn what your customer needs?
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. And we, like, when we talk to customers all the time, they tell us, like, hey, what should I use for this? What kind of fertilizer should I use for that? And instead of giving one answer to like every single customer, I'm like, well, let's turn this into a class.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of people. If you have this question, a lot of other people probably have that question. Let's chat about it together. Let's learn together. And I'm really like, it was January, we started implementing some things, but all of this is coming. It's definitely in our plan.
I love it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. You know,
Some more pop-ups too?
Yes.
Will that be in the future?
Yes.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things that I haven't even mentioned. Did I?
Exclusive.
Yeah, but Shauna, so our first employee, she was with us for a whole year, and then I love Shauna like she's family.
Yes.
And we sat down and we had a conversation, and she was like, "I want to grow with you. I believe in your vision. And I want to become a bigger part of it." And this all came together at the perfect time. And I really do believe that things all happen in perfect timing.
Yes.
Because this was around the time when I was struggling. When I was like, okay, financially, one thing I like promised myself from the moment I started this business is I'm never going to take out a loan. So I never took out a loan. Everything, every little bit of profit that I made from pop-up shops, I saved it up and reinvested it until it became this shop.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That is.
And I never wanted to take out a loan, but Shauna, when we were struggling, I was like, crap, will I have to while I figure this out? What's gonna happen? We weren't like ever in the red, thankfully, but I like to plan ahead, and I don't like to get in a bad position, you know? And Shauna came to me and said, I want to buy in. If you are open to it, I want to buy in, and I want us to take this and grow it. And in my head, I was like, and this is something that like an idea that was planted way earlier on. And I kept on thinking about it, and I was like, would I sell part of my business? Like, I had to do so much like thinking about
it's like
this.
soul
It's a big
searching
decision.
about
Yes.
something that you birth.
Exactly. And I thought about it, and I talked to David about it too, because we were always like equal partners. And the more we thought about it, the more we said, you know what? Yeah, like, because it's Shauna, because it's someone exactly. It's someone who believes in the same values that we believe in. And we wanted to just take her ideas, my ideas, David's ideas, put them together and create something beautiful that we all are proud of and believe in.
So I got a question about that. Did she know how much you felt a struggle? Yeah.
I've always been so transparent with like my whole team. I've always said, hey, we're struggling. This is what we need to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to change. Our sales are really down. What can we do to change things? And she was fully aware of all of this. And so at that time, I told her like, hey, you know what you're buying into. Sometimes I feel like I it wasn't as bad as like we have to close down. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't to the point where I was like comfortable.
Right.
It was getting a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be in that position. And then we had a whole conversation. And honestly, you guys, like I said, I have no background in any of this. I was like, how do you even sell part of a business? Like,
how do we do this?
No, how does this work?
Right.
But yeah, we had like our accountant get together with us, and Shauna's husband thankfully is also an attorney, so he gave us some advice, and we kind of figured it out, and now like she's an owner, and I'm so happy.
That is awesome.
It's a beautiful
thing. That's a blessing.
It really is, right?
It really is.
And right on time.
And it's not just anyone. It's someone you know, someone you trust, and who's been opening up the shop and everything.
Yeah.
And the fact that she came to you with that.
And this is so important. Like, the people that you choose to be your team matters so much.
Yeah.
And to me, this goes back to like when I was in school. Who's gonna be your team for dodgeball? All
Yeah.
right, who's gonna
Yeah.
who's
Right.
gonna be
Right.
your
It
team for
matters.
this project?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You always want to make sure that you have a team that you trust.
Yeah.
And to me, it's never just like a corporate professional thing. For me, this is deep and personal.
Yeah.
And I want to have someone who I know will have my back and
Yeah.
I will have their back.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like that's why I feel like I'm so incredibly lucky
Yes.
to have this team. And our shop is what it is today because of our team, because of and I would say they're just all so kind, so sweet, so loving, and just so happy to help every single person that walks in here.
You know, that says, I've said this from the beginning, you know, when I first met you, you know, it says a lot about who you are as a person, you know. I think like-minded people always seem to find each other, you know. And so when, you know, Janee and I, we were discussing, you know, the next season of Cultivation Corner, it's like, okay, Pita is like the honorary
Yes.
cultivator.
Who's the first thing? Who are we gonna have? Pita.
Pita,
Duh.
like,
Is that
duh.
even a question?
Right.
So sweet.
And with that, I think, you know, because, you know, I do whatever I can to get the word out about your business, especially with it being number one, owned by a woman, owned by women. I mean, can we like holler at that? You know, like we got,
Yeah.
sure, we got David. You know, David, but David's an attachment of you. You know, behind every good woman is a good man. Okay, but behind every good woman is a good man. You know, and so I just really want you to speak on just being primarily being a woman-owned business,
Yes.
minority-owned business. Like, can you speak to that just a little bit?
Oh my gosh. That question alone just makes me feel so much.
Yeah.
Just because of the current times that we're in, right?
Yeah.
Especially with many marginalized groups being targeted. And to me, I'll just quickly share some of my background and where I
Sure.
came from. And so I was born in Houston, but when I was even like less than one, I was taken to live in Guatemala, and I was raised by my great aunt. While my mom, she's my biological mother, she stayed back in the U.S. trying to work really hard to learn the language. She immigrated here when she was 17. So she came here, and we were three sisters at the time, all within like 2 years apart, I think.
Okay.
So that's why she had to make that difficult decision to take me and one of my sisters to Guatemala. And she stayed in the U.S. and she worked her ass off.
I believe it.
She learned the language. She went and got a job. She eventually worked for the American Red Cross until she was financially stable enough to one day bring me back to the U.S. But during that time, I grew up in Guatemala. I stayed there from the age of 1 to like 12 years old.
Okay.
And during that time, I like lost contact with my biological mom for a long time. And I grew up there in a tiny little town called Coatepeque. And life there was so different. Like I would go and work at the mercados, like the markets. I sold Jello cups to make a living with my great aunt. And it was very like humble background. Really like humble beginnings with my great aunt, because it was financially tough sometimes. Like there were times when there wasn't enough food for everyone, and my great aunt would say, here's your food, I will eat tomorrow, or I will save this for breakfast. So it was a tough time, but when I was there in that moment, I was like, I'm happy, like I have it all, I have everything. Until I was 12, and that's whenever my mom regained contact with me in Guatemala, and she said, okay, I'm financially stable. I can afford to bring you back to the US. And that decision was so hard for my great aunt and my mom, because my great aunt, she was like, I raised her, like she's my daughter. But everyone, and I have some family in Guatemala too, everyone said, no, you need to go to the US and you need to live out the dreams that we never got to dream.
Oh, wow.
You need, like, one of my favorite quotes is just that I am where I am now because I had the opportunity to stand on the shoulder of giants. And those giants in my life are my great aunt and my mother, who are like the most relentless, hardworking, beautiful women who said, I will work so hard and I will sacrifice myself so that you can go to the US and have the education that I never had.
Yeah.
So you can go to the US and get ahead in life so you never have to question whether you're going to have food the next day.
Yeah.
And that to me, just like, I know that there are so many people here in the US, Latinos and immigrants, who share that story.
Yeah.
Where our parents gave, like previous generations gave everything so we could have a better future.
Right.
And that's what I did. As soon as I set foot here, I said, well, hell yeah, so many people gave up so much for me. I'm going to learn the language. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get into an Ivy League. I'm going to be at the top of my class. I'm going to do everything I can to honor them, to make sure that I make them proud. And as a business owner in the US, this is like, I'm living the American dream, you know? And it hurts so much to see a lot of people that look like me but just have one document that's not there.
Yeah.
People who share the exact same story as me being treated like criminals.
Yeah.
But
It's
anyway.
literally the same experience that you went through.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, my father's an immigrant as well. You know, coming to this country, not knowing the language, having to get teased because, you know, English wasn't the first language, right? And so, you know, unfortunately, I know one of the reasons why I don't speak Spanish is because, you know, he was he was teased because he had an accent and, you know, he spoke Spanish and that wasn't, you know, that wasn't, so we never learned because he didn't want us to go through the same thing, you know? And so, you know, I think the irony is that immigrants all have the same story.
Yeah.
My father is probably one of the hardest working people who I know. Had 2 jobs just to make sure that we had a Christmas. You know what I mean? And so to hear your story, stepping on the shoulders of not only your mom here, but also your great aunt, who I'm sure taught you persistence and resilience.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And just being thankful for the small things, right? To turn this key and say, hey, this is mine.
Yeah, no, it's surreal.
Yeah.
It's surreal to be here, and honestly, I feel so privileged. Like, I don't take this for granted, and I don't take it lightly that people have chosen to support us, that people choose to purchase a plant or just even tune in and be part of our community. I don't take that lightly, and I can say that David and Shauna like feel the exact same way. And that's why, to me, like, just us being minority owned, women owned, we share a lot of experiences that a lot of people out there go through and feel. And for us, this space, that's why we work so hard to make sure that this space is inclusive and loving and kind, and that people from all walks of life and from all backgrounds feel safe here. Because it's not just selling plants. For us, it's not just making a profit, because we would have closed a long time ago if it was like, I'm here for the profits. No, it is the community, it is the people, and I just want to say, if you're watching, like if you've supported us in any way over the last like 5 years that we've existed, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for supporting us, for loving us, for being here, and for even watching this. I just feel so grateful.
Yeah, and you should. You're doing an amazing job. Like seriously, I've tell you this before, but like you motivated me, have been motivating me continually. Just everything you do, you do a lot. You probably don't see it or know it at times, but it's very inspiring. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Truly.
Yeah, this is listen, I get teary-eyed over the littlest things, and that
We're
and
sensitive.
but Peter, I gotta thank you too, because what me and Janee are doing right now is the little engine that could, like there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to be seen by the right person or people who see something special in what we do. The same way that, is this about the money? Clearly not. Okay.
No.
Look, not yet, but can we make it about the money
Hell
one,
yeah, you
one of
will.
these
Not
days,
yet.
right? But, the fact that you can sit here, share your story, especially in a time like today, where I'm sure people need to hear that side of the story, so that whatever they think, hopefully we can mold minds. Because one of the things that I do, and I know Janee does this with her channel too, is we do our best to show people a different side. Okay, people who are used to seeing us in a certain way, well, maybe not so much. Like, we're not a monolith, right? We are smart, we are educated, we are business owners,
Yes.
right? We are great podcast hosts with an intention to teach and to inform, and I think for the simple fact that you decided to sit down with us again, means so much to me.
It does.
And I just really, really hope that you just answer the call anytime we say, hey, Peter, we got an extra.
Always.
We need you.
Always.
We have an extra seat and mic, girl.
Run
Like,
there.
what are you doing? Like, come on down.
No.
But yeah, thank you for sharing all of that.
Yes.
I think, again, you always have a chair and a mic with us, and when we do season 4, I'm gonna hold you to it. Like,
I'm so
would you
excited
love to
already.
be part of that?
You're coming back.
Right,
We're not
you're
going to
coming
ask
back.
you.
Okay.
You're coming back when you're available.
Right. And we'll work around your schedule.
Yes, exactly.
period,
Oh, and
Before
the
we
space
head
is always
out,
here.
I don't know. I'm interested in plant trends. I know you mentioned you're focusing on Hoyas and then the tissue cultures with some of the plants. But what do you think, and what have you seen with ordering plants, like the way 2026 is going?
Yeah. Oh, such a good question. I've thought a lot about this year for our business. So for sure, people are starting to like the smaller plants. I think a lot of people are growing, like their collections are huge, so there's not a lot of space.
Right
So
here.
they
Okay.
so they opt for smaller plants than a big, like massive grown plant. That's a huge trend I've
Okay.
seen. So in general, smaller plants tend to be a bit trendier. They'd rather have a cutting of something and grow that than the full grown plants.
Wow.
And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why tissue culture is also really popular. On Palm Street, people sell tissue culture in baggies, and that's how they like it in the gel still, not even potted up, and that's how people are wanting them. They're like, I want to just start a tiny thing, have a bunch of different varieties, and grow it from the beginning until they get bigger, instead of having like 5 like full grown plants that are taking up all my space. So that's one of the biggest things.
So no instant gratification
Exactly.
these days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There's there's exceptions.
Sure,
Like when there's
yeah.
like a gorgeous monstera specimen, people are like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
And also I've seen people move away from, I mentioned this, from philodendrons, especially those like super expensive hybrids, like the Florida Mayois, Florida Tortums. Those fell really quick. And I think people were just getting a bit more like tired of seeing these, like all these hybrids. And I think a lot of people are starting to explore other genuses. So huge demand right now for rare syngoniums. Like we
Really?
Steve.
I know, right?
That's up your alley.
Yep. There's always a demand for uncommon syngonium. So, or you should try color, the pandas. There's the red. We're growing this one out. This one's still just like coming out. The red arrow, but variegated.
Ooh.
Well, you know,
Variegated red
when
arrows.
it's ready,
Yeah. I got
nice.
get me on the bat line.
Okay.
Yeah, and like little things like that. Also begonias. You know, that pink maculata.
Yeah.
Everyone is after the pink maculata. Some of our best sellers are the snow-capped variegated.
Okay.
So I was surprised because usually people are afraid of begonias.
Interesting.
No,
Yeah.
people love
I'm
their
scared of them.
begonia. Don't be.
They can't come
They're
in my house.
wonderful.
Well, you got you got cabinets now and
entry.
stuff, so
No entry for
no
begonia.
entry still.
No, still.
No? All right, well,
Give
Peter,
it some time.
let me ask you this: what would like in this moment? What is your, if you could pick one, your favorite
Ooh.
plant in the moment?
Oh,
In this moment,
don't do this to me.
I know it's like picking your favorite kid.
Oh my gosh. Like a plant that I own that's my favorite?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. Go with a plant that you own.
Yeah.
it has to be the Hoya Mathilde Gray Fairy.
Okay.
Just
Wait,
the,
so is that different than this one here?
100%. The Gray Fairy. So this is like our cutie, like basic Hoya, right?
Right.
Hoya Mathilde. There's the variegated Hoya Mathilde. Those have been selling really well also. But that's already like yesterday's news, okay?
What?
The new hot girl on the street right now is a Hoya Mathilde Gray Fairy. So it's just
Fairy.
silver. Completely silver.
Oh,
It's an
wow.
all silver Hoya Mathilde. So picture that, but just completely silver. And the silver is stable. It's not just splashy.
Really?
Like every single leaf is full silver.
I think we need that, Steve.
That's a
think so,
need.
too.
Because
Yeah.
again, I got now 10 was soon to probably be 11 Hoyas in my
Steve
selection.
Hoya had-
Wow.
Yeah, it's getting up there. So, thank you to you and Shauna.
Okay.
You know, but it's coming. It's coming. Oh wow!
Yeah, I think that was my current favorite.
All right.
But
Wow.
so many.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up. Add it to the list.
The long list keeps getting longer and longer and longer. I swear.
That's the game.
It
It's
is.
fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to move to a bigger place soon.
Okay,
so-
just for your plants
Just
to
for
fit
my
in.
plants. That's gonna happen too. I'm manifesting that. Okay. My plants are gonna have their own room.
Their own
That's
Steve's
amazing.
plant room.
Yep. Yep.
That'll be
Can't wait.
awesome.
Oh,
This has been
Pita,
great.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. And also, before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you guys for doing this. I think that a Planty podcast is incredible. And not just like to talk about plants, but because you guys do something different, and that is highlighting many small businesses and sharing many stories that are not normally shared. So I appreciate that. As a small business owner, I truly appreciate everyone who's there amplifying those voices, and I'm so excited. I'm so
Someone
freaking
cutting
excited to see
onions
what's
over
next.
here.
Yeah, there's a lot of onions
I'm
over
proud
here.
of y'all, and I know y'all are gonna make it big.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Peter. Thank you so much. You guys, that's going to do it for us over here in the corner, in the Cultivation Corner. So, for Steve,
And Janee.
you're watching Cultivation Corner. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.